A very good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the live trading webinar with myself, Giles Cockton, and Paul Sanders. Hope you're all doing well. We've got some movement now on these tariff news, so it's going to be an interesting session, most likely.
Hey, Giles. Good morning.
Good morning, Paul. How are you doing? You okay?
I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody else doing? Happy Tuesday. Not too much going on.
So,
Trump is just there's so much communication normally that I don't feel like I need like stated times of communication. I just go to Twitter and I can find out what he's thinking. So
I know it's funny. In fact, talking of what Trump was thinking, I had the throwback today to this tweet, which I love, of Donald Trump.
yeah,
Yeah, that was such a
truer
classic.
words.
That is a classic of all time, that should go in as like highlights, Trump's
Yeah,
tweets, you know what I mean?
yeah,
I think that probably shows quite a lot of his mindset as well. He's very business orientated, you know what I mean?
man.
Everyone finds aliens, everyone's like, oh my goodness, this is so existentially important. And Trump's like, oh, I wonder if I can do a deal. Okay, folks. Well, what we're looking at this morning is the news that Donald Trump is set to go ahead with the Canada and Mexico tariffs. So that's the news that's been dominating markets. You can see inventory is negative to start the session. We're looking like we're going to be opening up outside of yesterday's value area. We're pushing underneath yesterday's lows. And the thing that I'm noticing is that Canada said they're going to put retaliatory tariffs on from today, Tuesday, and China said they're going to put retaliatory tariffs of 15% on some US goods from next week on the 10th of March. The other news is that the European Union is going to ramp up defense spending. I think they've got a rearm fund of 800 billion euros for European defense. And this general growth concern through Trump going ahead with the tariffs is what's been dominating markets. If you look at stocks, you can just see very clearly sharp sell-off US equity futures, sharp sell-off China, Eurozone, DAX, volatility pushing higher. So that's been gripping markets. You can also see a similar move in the bond market with bonds finding buyers. US government bonds, Canadian government bonds, UK gilts. The general mood out there is risk aversion. So we're seeing bonds bid and we're seeing gold and silver higher on that news. WTI and Brent crude are down for two reasons. One, OPEC plus news that they're going to ramp up production levels in April. And two, global growth concerns generally weigh on oil. And you can just see here, look, oil's trying to break down through this technically important area. Yeah, it's into a big fat level of support, but you can see the intention of oil trying to break lower at the moment. So it's a kind of a risk-off market. Risk aversion is there. The dollar remains lower on that big bid coming into bonds on growth concerns that all of these are going to be, it's going to be more negative. So that's really what's dominating markets, and it's going to be tariff news. The thing that's jumping out to me about the tariff news is that it's all meant to be regarding fentanyl. So in other words, if the US, if Mexico and China can deal with the fentanyl, then the tariffs will come off. So it's not necessarily directly about trade necessarily, but that's the issue. So look out for fentanyl headlines. We'll have our squawk on. Just make sure I'm alive and well on the squawk. Yeah, so that's there. So looking at the actual market dynamics, you can see negative inventory. We're pushing into new lows. We can see this very, very old developed value area from here. I've marked in these two areas of the chart. And we're pushing down through this previous developed value area and a developing value area we've got at the 5870. So this is a big area that highlighting straight away on the hourly chart is just up to here, just around this 5860 region. We've got buyers trapped there. You've also got some potential buyers who've just got trapped here. So big sell area around that 5850, 5860 region. we'll be keeping an eye out on that. And similarly, we got another sort of fairly big sell area coming in here, where market currently is at, but also got another big sell area up here around that 5860, and this 5850 up against these buyers here looks a very attractive area for sellers in and above a slightly developed value area on the 15-minute chart. So that's what we're looking for. The trend is fast trend lower. That's the current dynamic that we've got. Just be careful, it's quite volatile, so just make sure we're adjusting position sizes to allow for that volatility. Okay, it's easy on a day like this to have a position that's much bigger than you wanted it to have. So that's the first thing to note. We need to be careful that we don't allow that to happen. Projections up into this 5840, 5860, and then lower. So up and then down to the next sort of developed value area. I'm using the weekly here, so looking for a move from here back down to the big round number 5800 and below. So it's quite difficult to find an easy value area to look at on the 15. So I'm just using the hourly chart to look at the big weekly developed value areas. And we've got one at the 5820 and then one just under 5800 at the 5796. So they're the big areas I'm looking for. So I'm looking for pullback, selling. If there's any sort of positive tariff news, then this can reverse on a dime. But for now, inventory is negative. The trend is fast lower. Potential slight rhythm change that we've got now. Big levels to be looking at. The big one that's standing out is the 5860. That's the really big area that I'm looking for. Projections, pullback, sell-off, and continuation. The important areas are already noted. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, just having a quick look around markets. Everyone's down, volatility surging higher. But yeah, it's worth just having a look at the S&P 500 here, flirting with this level here. Right, big support level we're just moving into, that trend line from November the 5th. Supported, potential support, bigger support here at the 5800 and at the 5750. So we're sort of in support now. Just be conscious of looking for dip buyers in this region up against that trend line. Other things to note, earnings. So we've had Target and Best Buy earnings, and markets is a little bit worried about their forward projections. So they're both down pre-market. And then we've got some other earnings coming up after the close. Not major earnings to be aware of, but sentiment is pretty negative from Target and Best Buy. Remember, markets will be very sensitive to discount consumers, how they're faring. So that's a bit of extra negative sentiment around. Looking at the calendar, it's very light for today. Just going to have a check for any speakers on another site as well. So very light in terms of data. It's likely to be mainly driven by headlines and what Trump's saying. Just going to check any speakers that we've got today. President Trump's State of the Union address is after our session at 9:10. Fed's Williams speaking at 7:30. We've got House Speaker Johnson at 3. But apart from that, it's pretty quiet.
There's a State of the Union address tonight?
Yeah, at 9:10.
What? How did I not know this?
Yeah.
I'm an American.
Yeah.
State of the Union is tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay.
So the other thing to note for today is just being careful of volatility and making sure that we've got position sizing that's good.
You think we could see a plunge today? Like another rapid sell-off?
It's hard to say because we're in some pretty heavy support. So if you look at that big support level, it's 2 levels. We've got the daily trend line, and we've got this big support around the 5,800. I could see a move down to 5,750. And that's not unreasonable. But yeah, hard to see if we're just going to go straight down through that level there. So it's heavy, isn't it? Look, that support's held since November 24, December 2024.
I've just seen remarks further from Mexican President Sheinbaum says not so easy for auto manufacturers to move their operations to the US. Production is more expensive there.
Yeah, it's tricky because is that trend line actually confirmed? We don't have 3 touches really on that, do we?
You got me to my favorite specialist subject, Paul. Right. Now that is that is like the level 1 kind of 101 technicals, right? That you need 2 touches, you need 3 touches. But this is what I've noticed, and I'm not a lone voice. When you have a swing point like this,
Yep.
there's no price the other side, they become very, very, I consider them as significant as a trend line. So
Yep.
the purist will says this is a potential trend line,
Right.
but when you've had no price the other side of it, it's good enough. If you've got like it's a bit hazy or a bit uncertain, there's a little bit of partial penetration, then you definitely need 3. But when it's like this, swing, that kind of counts. So,
Okay.
and even if you want to ignore all that, what you can't ignore is this big fat horizontal support around the 5,800.
Okay.
It's not to say it won't go down through, but we're in support, and it's quite decent support. So I think it will depend probably on what our man says, and just I think we just got to keep going with what we see,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and just making sure we're managing risk well. I think that's the key thing today, is manage that risk. The only other thing to note, of course, is just volatility is really pushing higher, heading up towards these. We haven't been above 22 since. This is the first time this year we've been above 22 on the VIX. So we are pretty bearish.
Yeah.
So we've got 10 minutes to the open. Let's start looking at the major areas. We had sellers trapped here at the 5827, and we're looking for sellers to come in against that 5850, 5860 against these buyers here. So there's key areas to be looking for. We've also got sellers down at the 5813 and here at the 5821 on the 15. It's worth just dropping down to the 5 to see what we've got down here. Yeah, that 5821 is quite interesting. So if we could get a break of the 5821, that wouldn't be unreasonable to look for further downside. The problem we've got, big support, big round number, and this is why we're seeing these kind of rejections and these sort of big levels. Break under that, fine, we'll go with it. But just got to be careful, we may just get a bit of traffic here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Horatio, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Exactly that. If we get below here, that would be the opening range breakout, and it will be underneath that 5800 and that confirmed value area. So look, if we go back up to here, I'm happy to short again. I don't want to be shorting into support here. So yeah, that 15, those buyers are trapped. If there was an obvious place to enter, I'd happily. So maybe like, I'd probably happy enter at about 5828 with stops at 5838 based on those trap buyers, but not here because there's just no room. So 5828, I'll just drop that down. I know that's like the top end of those buyers, but that would be good enough because I can have a stop above the VWAP. So that would be all right. If I start meandering up there, I'll consider that. Let's have a look, which we are meandering up there now nicely. So let's just see where. 5828, I'm looking 5828. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that would be nice, isn't it? 5824. This is kind of a sell area, which is difficult up here, but I think we've kind of had that sell. Buyers. There we go. Here it is. That's my entry. If I can get the 5830, that's the one. So 5830, I'm in, or breaking out either 5797. Delta is negative again. Looks like we're going to go for it. Let's have a see. Okay, Delta's having a run at it. Okay, they're pushing the 5 minute. We're underneath those areas there. Point of control there. Value building, we're going to have a go at it, aren't we? Let's see. Here we go. And we're going to go. Okay, bit of volume. Let's see. See if I get a break. If I'm going to get a break, I'm going to go with it. There is volume there. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Quite a tight stop just in case, because it's
This is such a fast market. It's insane. It's so like the stops you need are crazy. Yeah, exactly, Najam. NQ must be a wild ride.
yeah. Okay, that's me out on that one.
Nice.
Okay. That was quick.
Yeah, that was really quick.
Okay. Yeah, Tuesday, the March the 4th. So second trading day of the month, and good news, another profitable day. Had two trades that were nice, but only took one, which was the opening breakout range on volume. We saw the volume pitch into the downside, and as volume moves to the downside, as we took out that opening range, went with the short, just took a quick 5.75 points, and nice quick early trade, so that was nice. Then there was another opportunity that we were looking for on the 5-minute, when we saw retracement buyers getting trapped by sellers, and we were looking for a retracement back up to the point of control, which was at the 67.68. I was looking for an entry around the 64, 63 region. So the thing that kept me out was the cumulative delta moving higher, so that we saw this absorption going on, that price making lower lows even as the delta was making higher lows. So we knew that buyers were building, and buyers have been continuing building. And you look at the positive buy bias on the delta, you can see that everyone down here has been dip buying, and really it's volatility, VIX pushing off its lows, got 200 SMA on the daily chart, so kind of a bit of dip buying makes sense here. So for that reason, didn't take what otherwise would have been perfectly reasonable trade. So just the one, but closing the day in profit, so second profitable day of the month, so that's nice. And yeah, just nearly $100 off passing that Apex test, so just got another 3 or 4 points, and that'll be another one passed, if we shall see.
We'll see if you can bag 3 points tomorrow. No, that's good work. It's good work on the day. All right, everybody, thanks for the recap, Giles.
Yeah, take care everyone. Bye for now. Yeah, cheers
bye.
guys.